Breaking news. The Atlanta Falcons have made another move. It might not be the flashy signing fans were hoping for, but it's an interesting addition to the roster. Let's break it all down, so don't forget to hit that like button to stay updated on all the latest Falcons news. Let's go. Something is happening in Atlanta, and if you're a Falcons fan, you need to hear about it. The front office is making moves, but they aren't the kind that grab national headlines. No blockbuster trades, no superstar free agents. Instead, they're making under-the-radar signings that could shape the team's depth in ways we don't fully see yet. Two new names just joined the roster: defensive end Morgan Fox and cornerback Keith Taylor. If you're thinking, who are these guys? You're not alone, but stick with me because these moves could be more important than they seem. Morgan Fox, a smart depth move. The Falcons signed Morgan Fox to a 2-year, $8.5 million deal. That's not the kind of contract that screams game changer, but here's the thing: you don't always need a superstar to fix a major problem. And pass rush has been a major problem for Atlanta. Let's be real. The Falcons finished 31st in sacks last season. That's second to last in the entire NFL. If this team wants to compete, that has to change. Fox is part of that plan. So who is he? Fox entered the league as an undrafted free agent, spending his first 4 seasons with the Rams before bouncing between the Panthers and Chargers. He's never been a star, but one thing stands out: he stays on the field. Since 2019, he's played in every single game except for 1 year due to injury. That kind of reliability is rare, especially for a defensive lineman. His best season, 2022 with the Chargers, where he started 12 games, recorded 6.5 sacks, and had 8 tackles for loss. Both career highs. Those aren't jaw-dropping numbers, but for a team desperate for a more consistent pass rush, it's something. But let's be clear, Fox isn't coming in to be Atlanta's star pass rusher. His role will likely be rotational, keeping the top guys fresh. Last year, he played 53% of the Chargers' defensive snaps, and that's probably what the Falcons have in mind for him. If you're expecting Morgan Fox to fix Atlanta's pass rush overnight, you're going to be disappointed. But if the goal is to build a strong rotation, this move makes sense. What's next for Atlanta? Is signing Morgan Fox enough? The short answer: no. The Falcons still need a dominant edge rusher, a true difference maker. Could they still make a big move? Maybe. One name floating around is Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals, but here's the problem. Cincinnati reportedly wants a first-round pick for him. Giving up that kind of draft capital for a 30-year-old pass rusher is a steep price. So for now, we wait. What do you think? Do you like the Falcons' approach, or are you still waiting for that big splash? Let me know in the comments. The Falcons don't seem willing to pay a first-round pick for a pass rusher, but Morgan Fox wasn't their only signing. About 30 minutes before his deal was announced, the team also added cornerback Keith Taylor, formerly of the Chiefs and Panthers. If Fox was a depth move, this one is more of a training camp battle move. Who is Keith Taylor? Taylor was drafted by the Panthers in the 5th round of the 2021 NFL Draft, but let's be honest, his career so far hasn't been anything special. Last season with the Chiefs, he played in 11 games, recorded just 5 tackles, and never started. Before that, he spent 2 seasons with the Panthers, where his rookie year was actually his best, playing 41% of defensive snaps. Since then, his role has shrunk. So why did the Falcons sign him? Atlanta's thin cornerback room. Take a look at the current cornerback depth chart. A.J. Terrell is a clear starter. Mike Hughes provides experience. Clark Phillips is in the mix. But after that, things get shaky. Taylor's here to compete. Make no mistake, he's not guaranteed a spot on the final roster. This is the kind of move where if he performs well in training camp, he sticks around as a depth piece. If not, the Falcons move on. But here's something to watch: special teams. Taylor has played a lot of special teams snaps in his career. And with the Falcons bringing back Mike Ford, another special teams heavy cornerback, you have to wonder, do they see a similar role for Taylor? Where do these moves leave the Falcons? To be blunt, in the same spot they were before, just with more bodies at key positions. Fox and Taylor aren't game changers. They're depth pieces. But they do tell us something about Atlanta's offseason approach. They're being careful with their spending. So far, the biggest contract they've handed out is $4 million to Divine Deablo. That says a lot. The Falcons are waiting for the right moment to make a big move. But here's the real question, Falcons fans. Do you trust this plan? Do you think the front office is playing it smart? Or are you frustrated that they haven't landed a big-name pass rusher yet? What do you think of these two signings? Just depth or something more? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about the bigger picture, because one thing is clear. The Falcons aren't just making random moves. They're setting the stage for something bigger. If you look at what the Falcons have done this offseason, one thing stands out. They're playing it smart. Instead of making one huge splash, they've been adding low-risk, high-value players. It almost feels like they're waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Think about it. Leonard Floyd, a solid veteran pass rusher on a reasonable deal, not a massive contract. Divine Deablo, a $14 million deal for a player who, if healthy, could make an impact, but isn't a guaranteed star. These aren't desperate moves. The Falcons are being careful. But here's the question. Are they being too patient? The Falcons' pass rush struggles. Let's be real. Atlanta's pass rush has been a problem for years. The last time the Falcons ranked in the top half of the league in sacks? 2017. Since then, they've consistently been bottom 5 in getting pressure. Last year, 31st in the league in sacks. That's just not good enough if you want to be a real contender. So, yes, adding Morgan Fox and Leonard Floyd helps, but it doesn't solve the problem. That's why Trey Hendrickson's name keeps coming up. Could he be the missing piece? Maybe, but there's a catch. The Bengals want a first-round pick for him, and that's where things get complicated. Would the Falcons really give up a premium draft pick for a 30-year-old pass rusher? That's the debate happening behind closed doors right now. What this means for the draft. If the Falcons haven't made a big move for a pass rusher yet, it might mean one thing: they're looking at edge rushers early in the draft. Could they have their eye on a prospect like Dallas Turner or Jared Verse? Maybe they believe a rookie could give them the pass rush help they need without spending big in free agency. But that's not the only position to watch. What about the secondary? Yes, pass rush is a major concern, but let's not forget about the secondary. A.J. Terrell is a true hash one corner. Mike Hughes is back, but is he a long-term solution? Keith Taylor is a wild card at best. Clark Phillips is still developing. That means cornerback is still very much in play for the draft. Would the Falcons spend a first-round pick on a corner? Probably not. But in round 2, that's a real possibility. Imagine adding a player like Kool-Aid McKinstry to pair with Terrell. That could lock down the Falcons' secondary for years. Now it's your turn. All right, Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. Do you trust this approach? Are you okay with these smaller moves while waiting for the big one? Or do you think Atlanta is playing it too safe and missing out on game-changing talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss what happens next. Go Falcons!